Good evening, good evening, good evening. I want to welcome you to tonight's free webinar on unveiling soul construction. I am Shelby Frederick, and I am so delighted and excited to be with you all on this evening. And I am going to make sure that we are good on all of our platforms. And we're going to go ahead and jump right into our session on tonight. Excuse me, I want to bring you all greetings from wherever it is that you may be tuning into. You can let me know in the comments. I do have some of the comments up here, and I want to make sure that I go ahead and pull this up on my Facebook as well, so that I will be able to interact with you all there. As well, for those of you that are not on the other platforms. But again, we are going to be doing an introductory webinar on tonight for our upcoming soul construction cohort. It's a 4-week cohort that we're going to be offering on starting next Tuesday night. But I'm going to go ahead and get my screen shared because I have some information that I want to share with us on tonight to prepare us for what we are going to be talking about and discussing concerning soul construction in over the next several weeks. So this is all about a journey to wholeness, and understanding that when we talk about unveiling soul construction and what that looks like and what that means and the importance of it, it becomes very important because our soul, which is our mind, our will, and our emotions, it's so important, and it is interconnected to so many different areas of our life. And one of the things that I know, just as a transformative coach, and just have gone through my own process, that it impacts every single area of your life. And God desires for us to live in wholeness. And it becomes a part of this process of being self-aware. And so on tonight, I'm going to jump right into our slides on tonight. For those of you that are tuning in, I want to say greetings, blessings to each of you, blessings to my aunt. Hey, Aunt Janice. She's tuning in all the way from Japan. I always appreciate her support and the things that she does to support me in what I'm doing. And so hello, all the way to Japan from Ohio. Now, many of you have heard me talking about the 8 dimensions of wellness over the past several years. And this is a holistic model that emphasizes the various aspects of an individual's life that contributes to our overall well-being. And each of the dimensions, they are interconnected and they balance among all. This is when we talk about having balance. This is essential for optimal health. And so when we looking at the breakdown of the different dimensions, I'm going to go through those, go through these very quickly on tonight. So we start off with the physical dimension, and this dimension is one that most of us we're mostly familiar with. It involves maintaining a healthy body through regular exercise, proper nutrition, sleeping well, and avoiding harmful habits. It also involves and includes recognizing the different symptoms of disease and getting regular medical checkups and taking steps to prevent illness. Most of the times we're reactionary, but we want to get on the side of being preventive in our wellness and in our health care, and most importantly, in the 8 dimensions of wellness. Our second dimension would be emotional wellness. And this is really the vein that we're going to be really focusing on. But emotional wellness is about understanding and managing and expressing your feelings in a constructive way. So this involves with dealing with stress. How do we handle when stress comes our way? Developing resilience, which is one of my words that I am really anchoring a lot of my teachings in, is being resilient and also cultivating a positive outlook on life. The next dimension is social wellness, and this dimension focuses on building and maintaining positive relationships with others. And it encompasses interacting with others. How are we interacting with our family, with our friends, with our coworkers? It also means developing a support system and contributing to your community while you are fostering healthy relationships. And so this becomes very, very important for us to be aware of. Now, the most important to me is that spiritual wellness. And this involves having a set of guiding beliefs or principles or values that help to direct your life, to give you direction. It encompasses that having a high level of faith, hope, commitment to your beliefs, and to provide a sense of meaning and purpose. The next dimension is intellectual wellness. Now, intellectual wellness involves engaging in mentally stimulating activities, continuous learning, and applying your knowledge and your skills. And so, what I love about intellectual wellness is that it encourages creativity, curiosity, and a strong desire to understand while challenging yourself. Our next dimension is occupational wellness. And occupational wellness is about enjoying your occupational endeavors and appreciating the contributions that you make. This dimension includes, your career path that aligns with your personal values, your goals, and your interests. Now, the next dimension is environmental wellness. This involves recognizing your ability to make a positive impact on the quality of your environment, whether it is in your home, whether it's in the community, whether it is, I always say, on your job, what does your cubicle look like? Is it cluttered? Because that has an impact on how we show up. Another dimension is financial wellness, and this involves understanding your financial situation and taking care of it in such a way that you are prepared for financial changes. This includes things like budgeting, saving, investing, and planning for retirement. Now, when we talk about balancing these dimensions of wellness, this is crucial for healthy living and for for a happy or a joyous life. And so, what the soul construction does, it integrates all of these various aspects into what we are going to be talking about over the course of 4 weeks. And we will get into more detail of that. Now, next, I want to talk about the imperative need for emotional wellness. The imperative need for emotional wellness. It is imperative, for us to understand that it's not just important, but we live in such a fast paced, stress filled lives. And so when you talk about and you think about things such as anxiety and depression, I just want to go into some statistics because what we are coming out of and what so many people have experienced is coming out of the pandemic. There has been an increase in anxiety and depression, and that's globally. And the World Health Organization reported a 25% increase in the prevalence of anxiety and depression worldwide. When we talk about stress, the American Psychological Association says that, they did a stress report in America, and it showed that the average reported stress levels for adults in the United States was significantly higher than in previous years. When we look at things such as loneliness and isolation, we had social distancing, lockdowns. Many individuals reported the feelings of loneliness and isolation, contributing to their emotional struggles. There was also an increase in substance abuse, and this was according to the National Institute of Drug Abuse. So it reported that there was a higher rate of alcohol and drug consumption during this time. When we also look at work-related stress, the shift to remote work and job insecurities led to increased work-related stress. And the World Economic Forum highlighted the impact of the pandemic on workers' mental health. And many people have just shared their experiences through different, whether it's surveys or just employers or just in general conversation of how the pandemic and other life stressors have impacted their mental health. And so it becomes important for us to understand and to realize that we have a need for emotional wellness. And this is something that we cannot afford to continue to ignore. Now, because the training is called soul construction, which is not something new that I've taught on. I began to teach on soul construction. There is a series out there on my YouTube channel where I taught on soul construction, I believe back in maybe 2018 or 2019. But what is the soul? What is the soul? The soul is, and I always teach this from a biblical perspective, but the soul it's an integral part of our being, and it is intricately connected to our physical body and our spirit. So in other words, the soul of man is made up of the mind, the will, and the emotions. So in other words, man is spirit that has a soul that lives in a body. And so it becomes important for us to have an understanding when I talk about soul construction. And one of the reasons you may say, like, well, why wouldn't you call it, soul reconstruction? The reason why I didn't call it reconstruction is because people have not understood how we were originally constructed in the first place. And so they've never gone through this type of process or gone through this type of journey. So that's the reason why it's called soul construction. Now, what is emotional wellness? Emotional wellness, again, is a part of one of the 8 dimensions of wellness. And this refers to our ability to understand, manage, and express our emotions in a healthy way. It involves resilience, self awareness, and a positive approach to life's challenges. Listen, we have often been told that our emotions are negative, but I'm here to challenge us on that because God gave us emotions. We see God express all kinds of emotions. And so, emotions is not something that we should fear. Rather, we should embrace and we should learn how to understand, how to manage, and how to express them in a healthy way. And what are the tools that we use? What are the resources? What are some of the techniques when we experience negative emotions that's going to keep us in a healthy state of mind? And again, these are some of the things that we will be talking about in our upcoming soul construction course. Now, there is a ripple effect of emotional imbalance. When our emotional wellness is neglected, it can lead to an array of issues, including stress, anxiety, depression, physical health problems. This emotional imbalance can also affect our relationships, work performance, and our overall quality of life. So there is a ripple effect if we don't get an understanding of the importance of making sure that we know how to navigate through these places and spaces when they happen. Now, let's talk about self awareness. Self awareness is the cornerstone of emotional wellness. And why do I say that? I say that because understanding our emotions, our triggers, and our responses is what self awareness is all about. It has nothing to do with being prideful or anything like that. It's really understanding what these emotions and these triggers and our responses are. And it is the first step towards emotional stability, which allows us to navigate life's ups and downs with resilience and with grace. So we don't fear our emotions. We want to move past that negative mindset and that thought process that all of our emotions are negative. No, when you don't know how to be self-aware and how to navigate when life and when stress happens, that's when you get in trouble. And we're going to be teaching and giving people the tools that they need in order to go through life with grace and resilience. Now, how do we cultivate resilience for emotional stability? How do we cultivate that? We cultivate that by understanding that optimism, or having faith, not always just being negative, not always, what are you believing about yourself? That goes back to your identity, knowing who you are. Do you have self-control? That's the fruit of the spirit. Or having a willingness to adapt. Are you so focused on yourself that you aren't willing to adapt to certain situations? We have to have a willingness to be flexible. Cultivating emotional stability. We have to have the ability to solve problems, but you won't be able to have the ability to even see or to think in a way where you can even see the solution if you're emotionally unstable. So it's about having emotional awareness. It's about having a social support system. And then most importantly, have a sense of humor. The Bible tells us that laughter is like medicine. to the soul. And so we want to incorporate biblical principles along with practical responses. And so this is what soul construction is going to be all about. Now, next we look at nurturing positive relationships. Nurturing positive relationships. Our relationships play a crucial role in our emotional wellness. Positive, supportive relationships, they contribute to our emotional stability, while toxic relationships can have the opposite effect. And so it's vital for us to cultivate these healthy connections and to set boundaries when needed. Sometimes you have to set boundaries with people. And they always say that people with no boundaries will be the first ones to get upset when you set boundaries for yourself. And so, again, setting those boundaries and understanding what that means to our emotional stability becomes very important when we talk about nurturing positive relationships. Now, I love to talk about this one, achieving work-life balance or work-life harmony. My disclaimer is this, and what I have come to learn is that there is no such thing as work-life balance apart from Holy Spirit. Let me say it again. There is no such thing as achieving work-life balance or work-life harmony apart from Holy Spirit. Why? Because we live in such a fast-paced world that maintaining this balance becomes more important than ever. And so how do we live our life? For those who are spirit-filled believers, we live our life being led by the Spirit. And so while we have our planners and our calendars and the things that we are supposed to do for the day, the only way that you are going to be able to have harmony or balance in your day, or be able to balance work and life and family and ministry and job and so on and so forth, the only way that you will be able to do that is by following the grace. And the grace comes by understanding and having that relationship with Holy Spirit. That's the only way that we can balance. I know for me personally, there are times where, I can have my schedule and my days are pretty much regulated and regimented because of all of the things that I do. But there are times where I have to say, you know what? I don't have the grace to complete this task today, but I feel like there is grace and there's a win for me to do this. And so if I stay in that place where, well, because it's written on my calendar, that I've got to go ahead and I've got to get it done, there's no balance and there's no harmony in that. When you go with Holy Spirit and when you go with the grace, that's where you're going to have that harmony at. So again, I say it again, there's no work-life balance apart from Holy Spirit. And when you follow his leading and you follow the grace, then that's where you're going to have that harmony. That's where you're going to have that creativity. That is where you are going to be in a place of emotional well-being. Now, one of the other things that's important and key in this work-life balance or work-life harmony, however you want to state it, is that we have to make sure that we spend time and we make time for self-care. Self-care, relationships, and leisure. Taking care of yourself. We can't pour from an empty glass. And so we have to take those times to recharge. And we're going to be talking about that as well in our soul construction cohort. Emotional dysfunction can have a profound impact on our personal and our professional aspects of our lives. And so it affects how we think, how we feel, how we behave, how we interact with others. And some other things that, when we talk about our personal life and our personal relationships, we don't want to have strained relationships. But when we are emotionally unstable, this is where misunderstandings, this is where conflicts, this sometimes even isolation. And we want to avoid those things. When we talk about our physical health, our emotional health and our physical health, there's a strong connection. And when we have emotional dysfunction, this can lead to various health issues, including headaches, migraines, insomnia, high blood pressure, a weakened immune system. We're talking about balance. We have to be able to follow the grace and know the things that Holy Spirit says, you know what, this is what I need you to do. You know what, I need you to pull back from this. Even when we talk about mental health, prolonged emotional dysfunction can lead to mental health disorders, such as depression and anxiety and other stress-related disorders. We want to have a quality of life, but emotional dysfunction can diminish that satisfaction. And this leads to a decreased quality of life. And so many people, they struggle to find joy in the activities that they once enjoyed, and they feel a general sense of unhappiness. We're going to uncover all of that. Even when it comes to self-esteem and confidence, when there is a continuous emotional struggle, that erodes away at your self-esteem and your confidence. And it makes you begin to doubt your worth and your abilities. But let me tell you something. You have great worth. You have great abilities. And it is possible for us to live in harmony when we begin to understand ourselves and our makeup and the things that we need to do in order to have this harmony in our life. Now, let's talk about soul construction and the 8 dimensions of wellness. When we look at your path to emotional freedom, the 8 dimensions of wellness is interconnected with our physical, again, our intellectual, spiritual, social, financial, environmental, occupational. So it integrates these dimensions to ensure that you're not just addressing emotional struggles, but you are also building a foundation for holistic well-being. And this approach, it acknowledges the interconnectedness of the various aspects of our life. And it ensures that each dimension is nurtured for optimal health and fulfillment. How does this come? It comes through education, practical tools, and support. And so what soul construction does is that it empowers you to take control of your emotional health and your overall well-being, leading to transformative results and a balanced and satisfying life. It is possible. It is possible. Now, what is the soul construction? I want to give you just a quick 4-week overview of what our first cohort is going to be talking about. There are actually 8 parts of this, but I'm only breaking it down into 4 weeks at a time, simply because it can be a little overwhelming once we begin to delve into some of the issues of the soul. And the first thing that I want to say is that this is not counseling. That the soul construction cohort is not counseling, but it is coaching, and it is providing you with some tools. Now, if you need some counseling, then that can be scheduled at a time with me. But this right here, the soul construction, is not counseling. It is coaching. So to give us an overview, for week 1, we're going to be talking about the seat of the soul. We're going to understand what sits at the center of your emotional well-being. In week number 2, we're going to be identifying emotional dysfunction. This is where you begin to recognize the signs and the symptoms. Week 3, we're going to look at the role of faith and how spirituality, how your relationship with God can be a driving force for emotional healing. And then week number 4, we'll take a look at toxic triggers. And we're going to identify and give you some tools to navigate through these emotional pitfalls. Okay. Now, what are the benefits? The benefits of soul construction are that there is a deepened self understanding and emotional clarity, a deepened self understanding and emotional clarity. Participants of the soul construction class are going to embark on a journey. This is an enlightening journey where they're going to unearth and begin to comprehend the core of their emotional being. By exploring again what seats on their soul, you're going to gain profound insights into your true selves, who God has really created you to be, enabling you to identify, understand, and differentiate between the various emotional states. And this newfound clarity can lead to enhanced emotional intelligence, self-awareness, and a deeper connection with yourself, driving personal or purpose growth and holistic development. The second benefit is that there is an acquisition of practical coping mechanism and emotional management strategies. So this class is going to provide those comprehensive tools that you're going to need. And these tools are designed to help you navigate through emotional distress, stress, and anxiety effectively. Effectively. So by learning to harness positive emotions and counteract the negative ones, you're going to begin to foster this resilience that we talked about. You're going to learn how to maintain emotional equilibrium and to elevate your overall well-being. And these actionable strategies not only mitigate the impact of emotional dysfunction, but it also empowers you to handle future emotional challenges, again, with that grace and resilience. Now, benefit number 3 is that you will have strengthened relationship dynamics and interpersonal skills. The soul construction class, it delves into the intricate dynamics of relationships. And it begins to illuminate how emotional well-being impacts our interpersonal interactions and connections. So you're going to learn how to cultivate healthier relationships by applying the principles of emotional well-being, improving your communication, improving your compassion, and understanding other people's emotions. And so this perspective on relationship dynamics can lead to a more fulfilling, harmonious connection with your family, your friends, your colleagues, enhancing your overall quality of life to sense of community and belonging. Now, who would not want that? Now, if you know me, you know that I always like to provide something interactive, right? And so for the last 5 minutes, I want to take us through a 5-minute guided breathing and relaxation focus. So the first thing that I want you to do is I want you to sit up wherever you are. I want you to sit up straight where you are and just kind of shake yourself so that you can relax. We're going to do some deep breathing here. Deep breathing is one of the most is a very effective tool that you can use at any point in time of the day. And its objective is to calm the mind, reduce stress, enhance focus through controlled breathing. Okay, so you ready? So I want you to, the first phase is always awareness. So I want you to start by being aware and taking notice of your breath without trying to change it. Don't try to change it. I want you just to observe your breathing. I want you to feel the air as it enters into your nostrils as it fills your lungs and as it leaves your body. And I want you to notice the natural rhythm of your breath. Is it fast or slow? Is it deep or shallow? I don't want you to judge it. I just want you to observe it. Now, the second phase is what we call deep breathing. And we're going to do this for about 1.5 minutes. Now, I want you to intentionally slow your breath. And I want you to take a deep breath in, counting to 4 slowly. I'm going to do this one with you. And then I want you to hold your breath for 4 counts. And now I want you to exhale slowly for 4 counts. And I want you to do it again. Hold your breath out for 4 counts. Now let's do another cycle. And you can do this a few more times at your own pace. And that pace is take a deep breath in, counting to 4 slowly. Hold your breath for 4 counts. Exhale slowly for 4 counts. And then hold your breath out for 4 counts. And that will be the cycle. Now we'll move into phase 3. And the third phase is as you continue to breathe deeply, I want you to visualize a wave of calmness spreading throughout your body with every exhale. And with every exhale, I want you to imagine any stress, any tension. Imagine it leaving your body. So when we breathe in calmness and we breathe out tension. Breathe in calmness, breathe out tension. And then we go to phase 4, which is we begin to make a gradual return. So this is where you begin to start to bring your awareness back into the room where you are. So you can wiggle your toes, you can wiggle your fingers very gently. You don't have to shake them, but gently. And then when you're ready, if you had your eyes closed, you can open your eyes. And then I want you to notice how you feel. And hopefully you feel a little bit more relaxed. A little bit more relaxed. Now you can do this breathing exercise and you can use this technique anytime you need to find a moment of peace. Anytime you need to find a moment of focus throughout your day. Breathing is very, very, very beneficial for us. And again, these are some of the strategies that we will be sharing. And so I want you to understand that emotional wellness is within reach for everyone. And it starts with a commitment to yourself, a willingness to embrace change, and the courage to seek support when needed. And so you can start your emotional wellness today and begin to unlock and unearth and begin to release harmony and joy and fulfillment in your life. It is possible. It is possible. So again, I thank you all for just spending this time with me. Again, we do have our soul construction 4-week cohort. If you are ready for transformation, the cost of the 4 weeks, which is very minimal, is only $99. I believe that the payment plan is still up. You can get into the class for just $25 to save your seat. Now, there is a limited amount of seats. And so once those seats are gone, because I want to keep the time in our time together and those that I am working with, I want to be able to really focus and spend my time with them over those 4 weeks. And again, what you're going to be achieving is that emotional resilience and intelligence, stronger interpersonal relationships, inner peace and spiritual connectivity. We're going to be doing some time of prayer as well. We'll be looking at teaching you the skills so that you can have mastery over stress and anxiety. And then also, you're going to leave with an empowered and enriched life. So again, our soul construction starts on next Tuesday at 7:00 p.m. I do hope that you all would register and join us and just spend these 4 weeks with me, because I know the benefits. I've gone through this journey myself. I know what it takes. It does take work, but I am believing that the things that I have laid out for us is going to usher you right into that place of that emotional resilience, with grace and just the having a clear, more focused life. And so again, I thank you all for joining me on tonight. Again, I did drop the link into the chat. You can also find it at mindfitacademy.com. You will be able to find the link there to register. Again, you can reserve your seat for $25. And again, I would not wait because once it's full, then that will be it until we offer another section or session or cohort after the first of the year. So again, I thank you all for tuning in with us on tonight. I pray that you have a blessed rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you in the class and just following along with what we are going to be doing, especially for 2024. We have some exciting things planned to keep us really in tune with the 8 dimensions of wellness. So I'm Shelby Frederick. Thank you so much, and we will catch you on the airways at the next time. Bye-bye.